Okay, so a simple square box is what I'm making today. So I've already put the wood through the planer to get it down to the sizes I want. This is going to be the base, and this will be the lid once it's cut down. Lid and base are not cut down to size quite yet. Very simple design, and it's going to be very simply glued together. Just going for square. Now, as you know, I'm not a square box maker. My boxes normally have curves. They normally don't have broken ends that need to be glued together or anything like that. But for this box I was asked to do, and it is to keep it very square, completely plain apart from the lid. They have asked for some bits just on each corner, just a small bit with contrasting wood, which works perfect for covering the seams on the outside. But very basic. I'm just going to very basically glue it all together into a square. Then we will get down and sand off the top, make sure it's all even in height, and we will just do the outer before I cut the base. I'm wanting the outer block in place before I cut the base. This is going to be the lid, and in here on the X carve I'm going to cut out a thistle, and that will be the insert on there. Be a simple hinged back, just nothing fancy, so it's just a lift lid, and inside we'll finish it with a suede tex, which I think they've asked for in red. So we'll show you that when it comes to doing that. I managed to get the box. I was actually just measuring it to make sure it was all square. That's glued in place. Nowhere near finished, it's just glued in. They'll be needing a lot of work to get the edges finished and that now, and mark the base out and get that cut, but it'll all need to be sanded back before I can do that bit. So that's it there. It's going to be a big solid sturdy box. Okay, I was just actually this is the lid for the box, and this week I've had to do a lot more sanding than I expected to have to do, to be quite honest, because the tool path that I did, I don't think I had the settings quite right. I've actually been speaking to others during the week, and I could have done a better tool path and finishing tool path, which would have made the finish a lot better. But anyway, you learn as you go along. It certainly isn't down to the software or anything like that. It's down to me coding into the machine speeds and the way that it cuts. But anyway, I just put a bit of sand sealer on it because I wanted to see what it's actually looking like and if I need to do any more work on it, which I don't actually think I do need to do anymore. I think that's it finished. This is me just coming back in. I am now, that box is clamped together but it's not glued. I just kept it clamped together so there was no movement in it. I'm going to go away and glue this all up to snail and get the edges sanded down, because I've cut the blocks now. I'm wanting to take the offcuts for the corners. I've also decided on a design for these, which is basically just going to be a broader top and a shallower bottom, so the corner will basically have that each side. I'll probably have to explain more once I'm doing it. But I need to get the box glued together and sanded down, ready to start marking these off. I'm thinking of maybe, I don't want to have it too big. I'm thinking really about 2/8. Don't know if that's how you pronounce it. which would be 1/4 inch, say. 1/4 inch. I'll initially cut it 1/4 inch, and if I'm not that happy with it, I might take it down to 1/8 inch, just on the edge there. Just complete the corners nicely. And I need to have this box glued and the corners in place before I put the lid on to check the final measurements for the cutting of the lid. So I'll go away now and get this glued and sanded, and then we'll come back and we'll discuss more about how we're going to get the corners done. Okay, I was just marking these out ready for cutting, and as you see there, I've marked this will be the top of the box down to the bottom of the box. So just doing a simple, it's 1.5 down to 1 inch, and that's the corner the other side there. And the lip that I'm going to have on this is 1/8 inch. I think 1/8 inch there is enough for a corner. And I've marked the top there because I'll need to, first of all on the bandsaw, I'll cut down these two. I'll cut that one and I'll actually tape it back into place, and then I'll cut that one. And then I'll stand it on the bandsaw and cut into these areas. I've got to be pretty accurate with not having this leaning over at all, which makes me sort of think that maybe I should put this in the bandsaw first and cut into the corners, then glue that into place, which is what I might do. Nice bits of wood for the corner there, and they'll contrast quite well. It won't be too stark on there for colour wise. So I was just showing you basically what I was doing for there. I'll continue on and mark for the 4 ready for once the box is prepared, and then we'll be able to just get these all cutting into place. That's the corners all cut from out the piece of wood, so they've come out quite nice. I actually quite like the slanted angles on them. So let me just take these out of there because they're actually probably quite delicate. So they will go into place like this. There will be a touch on the bottom, but I will actually sand those square once it's done. So now I shall glue these bits on. Obviously there's the 4 for the 4 sides, and then I'll show you that when it's done. Okay, that's the corners all stuck into place. I've actually given it a first coat of sand sealer, just because it's going to, there's lots and lots of sanding that's involved with this box to get it to a really smooth finish, and just any discrepancies with any angles or anything, so that I can refill them and just make sure it's all sitting nice really. And good, this is going to be the back where the hinge is going to go onto here, and I didn't want to not put the corners onto the back to match the front. So I've actually angled those with the hope that once the hinge goes on, there will be a bit of a gap anyway, that there's just space for it to lift back. But as we get a bit closer to getting that done, we should be able to make sure, but I think that will be enough for there. That wood has come out absolutely beautiful on the end. So basically I need to prepare the inside ready for suede. It's like a suede finishing where you put the glue application on first, and then suede text is blown onto the top of it to give a lining, because they're actually wanting a lining on the inside of this. So I won't do too much finishing on there, because it's all going to be covered. We're not going to be able to see anything on the inside there. So yeah, what I'm basically doing now is going around making sure that all the bits are sanded properly, and doing some finishing to get this done. And what I'm hoping is within the next few hours is to have that complete, so that I can complete the inside. I cut down the box lid to the size that I need. I don't want it coming over the edges at all on the back. I just wanted a slight overlap on both sides there, ready for the hinge, and for it to finish flush, well, just over flush at the front. So I've cut that all down ready, so I'm quite pleased with it. It's come out quite well. Actually, it's come out just as I'd wanted it to, so really I'm not going to concentrate too much on this part today. That will be my bit for tomorrow, but I'm going to make sure that I've got this finished, so that I can get the suede text into here. But yeah, that's it so far. Like I say, still quite a bit of sanding to do. Be another good hour or so before I maybe get even the sanding finished. Just getting the hinges on the back of this box now. I used some bits of paper as a spacer in between the back end, and I taped and clamped the back of the box on. I then used a Dremel with a very minute drill piece in it, just to drill before I actually screwed the screws in. These screws in this box actually are not the best. I just can't get screws to fit this little hinge. So that's the final bit of the box that I'm doing. This is the final part of the box. That's it actually complete now. Just a standard flat lid with the thistle in the top. I'll do some close-up pictures and I'll put them on at the end for you. I used the suede text as a lining. They specifically asked for red to go into this one, so so that's all complete now. It comes out lovely, that takes a few days to cure. As you've seen from the time-lapse, small time-lapse of me doing it, and it's been 2 days since then, and I basically just banged the amount of dust out. I'll probably leave it another 24 hours and then give it a light hoover in the inside. I won't actually drag on any of it, just to take the loose stuff away. Corners came out quite nicely. Quite pleased. It's just a standard hinge in the back. I was thinking originally of putting wooden hinges on, but they wanted something just quite standard, so so I just went for normal hinges, which is not something I use that often, so I'm always quite nervous putting hinges on. But that's it. That's the box done. Came out quite well. It's quite just very standard. There's nothing too fussy about it. Very plain for what they asked for, and the thistle in the top. I'll actually open that a little bit so you can see a little bit better. Okay. Hope you enjoyed this one. It's a little bit longer than I would normally do it, and I've actually, the end bits I didn't show, just showed a little bit of me doing the hinges. I didn't show too much of that, the main thing that I really wanted to get across is that you can make quite a plain box look quite decorative with the thistles or the 3D in the top. I mean, I'm lucky I do have a CNC machine to do that. But I mean, when you've got the machinery like that, it's an absolute waste not to use it. And the thistle was very, very easy to do using the design and make software. Really do check them out. I'm going to be putting links into them at the bottom, because do check them out. There's some free ones on there that you can test out and try out first, and then if you like them, you know what you're getting, you know how it downloads, and you know how simple it is to use. I'm no genius on the X-Carve, and I certainly wouldn't be able to design any of this myself. I would need to go to a company, and plus I wouldn't want to be. My area is making boxes. I want to concentrate on that rather than concentrating on designing the designs. For some people it's fine, but for me it doesn't work. So yeah, do check them out. I mean, the thistle come out absolutely beautiful. You know, couldn't fault it at all. There was nothing in it at all. I did have extra sanding to do. That was my error, because when you get you can buy these and download them and then test out your toolpaths, and you can see how your toolpaths work. I didn't do it enough on this one, so that was completely my error, but it came out beautiful in the end, and that's the main thing. So anyway, thanks for watching. If you like, give me a thumbs up. If you've not subscribed yet and you want to see more of this type of thing, press that subscribe button. Any comments, pop them below, and feel free to share. Thanks very much for watching.